I checked the rearview mirror, and he was staring at me. Not blinking, not moving, just watching. I hadn't even started the ride yet. And somehow, I already knew I shouldn't have picked him up. This happened during my last week driving Uber, and after that night, I never did another ride again. It was around 1:30 in the morning, that quiet time when the roads are empty, but something about the air feels off. I had been driving for hours. I was tired, mentally drained. I told myself, one more ride, then I'm done. That was the mistake. The request came in almost instantly. Pickup was only 2 minutes away. No profile picture, no rating, just a name. R. One letter. I remember staring at it for a second, thinking, that's weird. But I accepted anyway. The location was a side street. No traffic, no houses with lights on, just one flickering street lamp. And under it, he was standing there, perfectly still, not on his phone, not looking around, just standing, like he had been waiting for a long time. I slowed down as I approached. Something didn't feel right. Most passengers wave or step forward. He didn't move at all. I pulled up, unlocked the doors, and waited. A few seconds passed. Then slowly, he walked toward the car. Not rushed, not casual, just slow, controlled. He opened the back door and got in, directly behind me. That's when I felt it. That immediate discomfort. Most people sit on the passenger side. He chose the seat directly behind me, where I couldn't fully see him. I glanced at the mirror. Hey, are you Ryan? No response. I checked the app again. Still just R. No profile. No details. All right, I said quietly, and I started the trip. For the first minute, there was nothing. No movement. No sound. Then I heard it. Breathing. Slow. Heavy. Right behind me. I looked in the mirror. His face was barely visible. Just shadows, but I could see his eyes. He wasn't looking out the window. He wasn't on his phone. He was looking directly at me. Not like a normal glance, not curiosity, just locked in. I looked away quickly, tried to focus on the road. Long night? I asked, just to break the silence. Nothing, no reaction. That's when my chest started to feel tight. A few minutes passed, still nothing. Then suddenly, my GPS rerouted. I frowned, looked down. The destination had changed. Now it was taking me off the main road, into a darker area, no streetlights ahead. I felt a wave of unease. Hey, did you update the destination? I asked. Silence. I glanced back again. He was still staring. Same position, same expression. That's when I slowed the car slightly. Look, if something's wrong, I can pull over, I said. And then, he spoke. Just keep driving. His voice was low, flat, no emotion at all. And that's what scared me. Not what he said, but how he said it. It didn't sound like a person talking. It sounded like something repeating words. I didn't respond. I just kept driving. We turned off the main road, and immediately, everything got darker. No houses, no lights, no signs, just trees, on both sides. The headlights barely lit the road ahead. I tightened my grip on the wheel. My instincts were screaming at me. Something was wrong. I checked the mirror again, and my stomach dropped. He was closer, not leaning forward, but somehow closer than before. I hadn't heard him move, no shifting, no sound. But now his face was clearer, and his eyes were still locked on me, unblinking. That's when I made a decision. I was going to end the ride. I reached toward my phone, and right as I did, he disappeared, just gone. The back seat was empty. I slammed the brakes. The car skidded slightly. I turned around instantly. Nothing. No door sound, no movement, no footsteps. Just an empty seat. My heart was pounding so hard, I could hear it. I grabbed my phone, hands shaking. The ride was still active. Same destination, still updating, like he was still there. I slowly reached back and touched the seat. Cold. And then I noticed something. The seatbelt was buckled, tight, like someone was still sitting there. That's when I ended the ride and drove straight home. I didn't check my earnings. I didn't open the app again. I just sat in my driveway for a long time, trying to process what happened, because I know what I saw. He got in the car, and somehow, he never left. And that wasn't even the worst part of that night. I told him the ride was over, but he didn't move. He just sat there, looking straight ahead, like he hadn't heard me at all. And after a few seconds, I realized something worse. He wasn't confused. He just didn't want to leave. This happened during one of my late-night shifts. And if you've ever driven at that time, you know how quickly things can feel off. It was a Friday night, around 2:15 a.m., right after the bars closed. So I was expecting the usual. Short rides, drunk passengers, nothing serious. I had already done a few trips like that. Loud people, messy conversations, normal stuff. Then I got a request. Pickup was right outside a club. Crowded area, lights everywhere, music still playing. I pulled up and saw him almost immediately, standing near the curb. Not with a group, not on his phone, just standing there. That stood out to me, because most people at that time are with friends, or at least distracted. He wasn't. He walked toward the car slowly, opened the back door, and got in. Passenger side this time, which felt normal. "Hey," I said. "Name?" He didn't answer that. Instead, he gave me an address, out loud. That was the first red flag, because the ride was already in the app. I glanced at my phone. The destination didn't match what he said. I hesitated for a second. Is this the right address?" I asked. He just said, "Yeah." Flat. No emotion. I should have canceled right there, but I didn't. I started the trip. At first, everything seemed normal. He leaned back, looked out the window. Then he started talking. At first I thought he was on the phone, but he wasn't. He was just talking. Random things. Half sentences. Laughing quietly. At nothing. If you've ever had a passenger like that, you probably know how uncomfortable it gets. I tried to ignore it, focused on the road. But then suddenly, he stopped. Completely. No movement. No sound. The silence hit instantly. I looked in the rearview mirror. He was staring forward. Not at the window. Not at me. Just straight ahead. His face was blank, like someone had flipped a switch. That shift was what made it worse, because now it didn't feel like a drunk person anymore. It felt intentional. We drove like that for a few minutes. No talking, no movement, just silence, and that feeling that something wasn't right. We reached the destination, a quiet street, no lights on in the houses, no cars outside, just darkness. I pulled over. "All right, this is your stop," I said. Nothing. I waited a few seconds. "Hey, we're here." Still nothing. That's when I turned slightly. He was still sitting there, eyes open, not asleep, just there, watching. I felt my chest tighten. "You need to get out," I said. This time, he turned his head, slowly, and looked directly at me and said, "No," just one word. But it didn't sound drunk anymore. It sounded serious. That's when everything changed. The atmosphere in the car felt heavy, like the air got thicker. "I can't end the ride until you exit the vehicle," I said, trying to stay calm. He didn't respond, didn't blink. Then he said, "I think I'll stay." That sentence didn't feel like a joke. It felt like a decision. My hands were sweating now. I didn't want to escalate, but I also couldn't just sit there, so I grabbed my phone and pretended to call someone. "Yeah, I'm here," I said out loud. "Yeah, I've got someone refusing to leave. Police are on the way." The second I said that, his expression changed. Instantly. He smiled. But it didn't look right. It looked forced, too wide, too sudden, like he was copying what a smile should look like. And then, he opened the door, stepped out. Relief hit me immediately, but before closing the door, he leaned back in and looked directly at me, closer this time, and said, "I know your car now." Then he closed the door and walked away, slowly, not looking back, just disappearing into the dark. I sat there for a few seconds, completely frozen. Then I locked the doors immediately and drove off. I kept checking my mirrors the whole way, because something about that didn't feel finished. Like that wasn't the end of it. And even now, I still think about that moment. Because I don't think he was joking. I think he meant it. And what happened next made that night even harder to forget. I watched him get out of the car. I saw him walk away. I even saw him reach the front door. So explain this. Why was he still sitting behind me? This is the story that made me quit driving completely. And if you've ever driven alone at night, you'll understand exactly why. This happened on a Sunday night, not busy, not loud, just quiet. The kind of night where the city feels empty. I had been driving for a few hours, nothing unusual, short rides, normal passengers. Then I got a request. Pickup was in a residential area. When I arrived, everything felt off. The street was too quiet. No lights on in any of the houses. No cars moving. Just one person, standing outside. He wasn't on his phone, wasn't looking around, just standing there waiting. I slowed the car, pulled up slowly. He walked over, opened the door, and got in. "Hey," I said. He nodded. That was it. No small talk, no questions, just silence. I checked the app. Everything looked normal. Name, destination, route, nothing strange. I started the ride. For the first few minutes, it was completely normal. He sat quietly, looking out the window. If you've ever driven late at night, you know those rides. Quiet, calm, almost peaceful. But something about this one felt different. I checked the mirror. He was staring at me, not constantly, but every time I looked, his eyes were already there, watching. I looked away quickly, tried to ignore it. "Long day?" I asked. He didn't answer, just kept staring. That's when the atmosphere changed. It didn't feel like a normal ride anymore. It felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. We drove like that for about 10 minutes. Then we reached his destination, a small house, no lights on. I slowed down, pulled over. "This is you," I said. He nodded again, opened the door, and stepped out. I watched him in the mirror. He walked up the driveway, stopped at the front door, reached for the handle. Then I looked away, ended the ride, and drove off. Everything felt normal until about 30 seconds later. I checked the mirror, and my entire body froze. He was still there, sitting in the back seat, same position, same posture, looking forward, like he never left. My hands went cold instantly. "No," I whispered. That didn't make sense. I saw him get out. I saw him walk away. There's no way he got back in. I slowly turned my head, and there he was, closer than before, completely still, not blinking, not speaking, just sitting there. I couldn't breathe. I didn't know what to do. I pressed the gas, drove faster, trying to get somewhere with light, people, anything. My heart was pounding so loud and I couldn't hear anything else. I looked in the mirror again. He hadn't moved, still there, still watching. Then suddenly, he was gone. Just like that. The seat was empty. I slammed the brakes, pulled over hard, Turned around, nothing. No one. Just the empty seat. I checked the doors, locked, all of them. I reached back slowly and touched the seat. Cold. Then I saw it. The door behind me was slightly open. Just a little. Like it had been closed. But not fully. That's when I realized something. He didn't disappear. He was never gone. And I don't think he ever needed to open the door. That was my last ride. I deleted the app that same night, and I never drove again. And after that, I stopped checking the rearview mirror altogether.